Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program. This is Daily Politics live on Trust TV, your go-to place for everything politics, policy, and governance. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Tonight on the program, we dive into the recent high-stakes deal between the Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria and the Dangote refinery, promising to bring down pump prices by allowing marketers direct access to refined products in the country. Meanwhile, the NNPCL has halted petrol imports, signaling its support for private refineries to drive Nigeria's energy security. Amidst rising pump prices, supply gaps, and heated debates over pricing and licensing, this deal could prove to be pivotal. Joining us on the program tonight to help dimension the issues are the president of PETROAN, Gilly-Harry. PETROAN is the Petroleum Retailers Association of Nigeria. And also join the conversation is Energy Times publisher Kayode Ekundayo. Both are joining us virtually live from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial hub. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you most kindly for joining us on Daily Politics. Right. Mr. Gilly-Harry, let me first of all start with you and get your take on whether you think this is the beginning of a new chapter for the oil and gas sector in Nigeria.
Well, I think that the news coming, filtering out of into our ears is a very good one. The deal that is being struck by Ipman and Dangote refinery is very, very good. So hopefully that is signaling, better times to come in the industry. And the focus is affordability of petroleum product pricing.
Realistically speaking, though, how soon can we begin to feel the impact of this new agreement? Clearly, it appears that the white flags have been, used to great effect with the deal between Ipman and Dangote refinery, and the NNPCL coming out to say, listen, we're going to halt importation now, and we're going to rely heavily on local refineries, and we know the biggest refinery there is in the country belongs to Dangote. What are your thoughts about impact, and how soon can Nigerians reap the benefits of this positive move?
Well, the benefits will be quite huge, in my opinion, because simply said, the refineries will work in the space of their business to refine. Storage facility owners, ship owners will get into business. Marketers will also get into business, and retail outlet owners will get into business. Now, petroleum product from time is not a huge bank profit, per liter. It is just in trickles. So everybody will just have just a little bit of it, with the mindset that we must make sure that Nigerians are able to afford to buy the product from the last mile. Petrol, as you know, is the critical last mile in the industry. We are the ones that are last in the value chain. And therefore, we will ensure that all of these opportunities that are being put together comes very successfully to the benefit of Nigerians. When you talk about time scope is not what you can be able to preempt, without practical operations. The Ipman and Dangote refinery deal has just only been announced yesterday, and hopefully there will be many more orders coming. Petrol is also very willing to work with Dangote refinery, as you've known quite a long time. Major energies marketers are willing. The depot marketers are also willing. All that is needed is just clarification of the businesses and the processes, and we're ready to roll our tanks into working and making sure that Nigerians have petroleum products in their tanks from our retail outlets.
Does Petron have any concerns about the deal? Because you also pointed out that you're also trying to be part of the conversation headed towards a solution. Where does Petron stand in regards to all of these deals and negotiations that are being agreed to as a stakeholder?
At the end of the day, all of the stakeholders will still need Petron to complete the process of ensuring that the product is in your tank to work. So the conversation that is being held is beneficial to us. Of course, obviously, we are going to meet with all the refineries ourselves and continue the process of ensuring that we encourage them to do the best we can to make Nigerians enjoy the benefit of being an oil and gas producing country.
There are some who would say, listen, there are still some kind of tensions that have not yet come to the surface, but the past couple of months has shown the disagreement levels between all of these critical stakeholders, IPMAN, the Dangote refinery, and the NNPCL, to a point where we're talking about litigations. How positive are you that, those hurdles have been successfully navigated and we would not likely return to those major disagreements that end up pushing Nigerians to the limit?
We have a regulator that regulates the industry, and they have capacity and understanding of how to make sure this business is very successful. That is the NMDPRA. Every disagreement of any kind can be resolved by the NMDPRA, can be resolved by the Minister of State, can be resolved by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, petrol clearly has become a major issue in the dynamics of the growth of the economy of Nigeria. So these issues were teething issues, in my opinion, and I believe that in the coming days and coming weeks, they will all be resolved and we'll all get into business seamlessly and ensure that Nigerians enjoy the better part of all of our commitments to ensuring that there is efficient distribution of petroleum products in Nigeria.
Knowing what you know about the industry and some of the concerns that have been raised recently, Melekere, the Group Chief Executive of the NNPCL, did say that their decision to rely on local refineries for petroleum products is hinged on the need to address Nigeria's energy trilemma, as he said it: security, affordability, and sustainability. Over the past couple of weeks, there's been several revelations. NNPCL saying, listen, what we expected from the Dangote refinery was over 1 billion liters. We haven't gotten that. IPMAN is saying, we've made huge deposit, but we haven't gotten the products. Dangote is saying that we have over 500 million plus liters that are waiting to be shipped out. And that is just waiting for these marketers to come and pick up the products. What do you make of some of the fine-tuning that needs to be done? Can we guarantee, security of energy? Can we guarantee affordability of price? Can we also guarantee sustainability when it comes to the supply chain?
Well, the Group CEO of NNPC has spoken. The good news that has come is IPMAN is now on board with Dangote Refinery. Petrol also will soon be on board. And almost every single to ensuring that there is efficient petroleum product distribution that guarantees our energy resources. So I think what we should be hoping and seeking to get is how this whole value chains provided by all the different tiers are brought into play in such a way that the Nigerian benefits in the last, mile. And we, as retail outlet owners, are committed to ensuring that whatever the energy security value that's brought up, whether it's in the buying of gas, buying of CNG, and the affordability of petroleum products such as PMS, that is now going to come on stream with all of these new realignments and alignments coming, Nigerians will be the better. So I think that Melekere has spoken exactly what needs to be addressed: security, affordability, and the energy security itself.
And in talking about this decision for the NNPC to pivot from imports, which I suppose would give the foreign exchange room to breathe, especially because of how heavily we're investing the short amount of greenback we have in importing some of this product do you have concerns going forward about the sustainability aspect? Can these refineries, whether it's the Dangote refineries, all the other modular refineries that NNPC says it is going to patronize, do you think they have what it takes to maintain or at least supply the huge demands that we have domestically?
We have 650,000 barrels per day refinery that's operating out of Lekki, Lagos. And we're hopefully going to see all the NNPC owned refineries coming on stream. We have recommended that private sector, real private sector, be involved in the process of making those other refineries come on stream. So it's very easy to see that the future is bright. Whatever that one refinery is not producing enough to switch for, the other refineries will bring. And of course, the fact that all of us are deciding not to get involved into import is clearly demonstrating the fact, that we all want to make sure that the Dangote refinery is successful. The other local refineries in Nigeria are also very successful, and Nigerians should be the better for it.
In talking about this transition, do you have any fears or concerns about, what might happen during this transition, especially when NNPCL is saying that we're no longer going to import? Ipman says now we have direct access to Dangote, we're not going to import. But do you see other people still exploring, other refineries, other players within the industry, exploring the option of importing to allow for competitiveness in the industry? Or do you want us to wholly focus on domestic production and refining capacities to supply the domestic market?
We are going to be entering into a fully deregulated, economy in terms of the downstream operations. This full deregulation allows for refineries to work, importers to work, and retail outlet owners to also import, take product off the refineries and then sell, and make sure that Nigerians have access to petroleum product at all times, at all levels. So we'll continue to expect a mix, but in the meantime, every stakeholder is determined now to ensure that we make Dangote's refinery successful, and we all have clear understanding of how the dynamics of how the business should be done. And I think that's coming on stream now. With that clarifications and all of the business modalities put in place, we don't see why Dangote's refinery and other refineries in the country will not be very productive to produce enough refined product to make sure that Nigerians have gas in their car, and then the price is gradually based on competitive values, affordable.
You sound very optimistic about this, and I think it's a good thing to note, because over the past couple of months, the conversations have been rather critical about the unending issues within Nigeria's oil and gas sector. But on the flip side, what could go wrong in your view?
What could go wrong is if any one partner, any one party just wakes up to say they want to just only be the only ones that is in the play. That, I think, should no longer be part of the thinking, and then every one of us should be able to do our part of the business and ensure, that we deliver the goods for Nigeria's economic growth. PMS it has become a very critical issue in the economic growth of the country, because everybody is dependent on it. The hospital, the hairdresser, the food vendor, the bus driver, the taxi driver, even the CEO, the president, everybody is dependent on PMS for a very sharp and fast growth of the economy. So it's so very critical that we make sure that we try to think out of the box to make it available securely and affordably.
Right, okay. Joining the conversation now at this hour is Energy Times publisher Kayode Ekundayo, who is joining us virtually also from Lagos. Mr. Ekundayo, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I'd just like to get your take on this one. It's all positive because some of the critical players, the three most important players in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, have agreed to play along nicely. They've been at each other's throats over the past couple of months. I wonder if you are as optimistic as Mr. Gilly-Harry is with regards to this being a game changer for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. What has been happening in the sector in the last couple of weeks or months is an interesting episode, and we should congratulate ourselves that Dangote refinery is on stream today and is a game changer for the Nigerian economy. But the issue that has been the major challenge to the industry has been whether the importers should concentrate on Dangote refinery, not to import again the substandard product and all those things. I think the issue on ground shouldn't be on whether to import or not to import, because the main essence of the regulation is to have alternative. If there is only source of source of supply, that definitely means that the regulation is not working. And I can see from the angle of where the NNPC is coming from that they should allow all the players to source their product anywhere they can find it cheaper across the world. And at the same time, I understand the stand of Dangote refinery that they should allow Nigerian industry, particularly a refinery of standard level like Dangote refinery, they should allow all the Nigerian companies to now concentrate on importation, to bring product from Dangote refinery, at least to encourage the investment, and so that they will have a return on investment. Yeah, it's all the same, but the sector today is deregulated. If we now concentrate only on Dangote refinery,
Mr. Ekundayo, are you still there? I think we've lost our connection to Mr. Kayode Ekundayo. We're going to work on that to get him back, but I believe we still have the president of PETROAN, Mr. Gilly-Harry, on the line for us in Lagos to add value to the conversation. You heard where he was heading with his thoughts there. I wonder if you think we can eat our cake and have it. I mean, we celebrated the Petroleum Industry Act because of the deregulation, but he's also saying that while he understands the sentiment to protect local industries, like Dangote, for instance, to thrive, not just because of the sentiment, but because it also provides a boost for the Nigerian economy. Do you think we can achieve both, protect local industries while also trying to achieve total deregulation of the sector? Is that feasible? Okay, we appear to be having a connection challenge with our guest who have been giving us insights and analysis on the developments within Nigeria's oil and gas sector, especially in relation to pricing, which has become quite a sour topic for Nigerians over the past couple of months, because the price of petrol, which has become the nerve center of the Nigerian economy, has pushed a lot of Nigerians to the brink, with inflation soaring quite significantly. And of course, as many have rightly admitted, sorting this problem out would definitely and greatly add value to the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians. And this particular deal with Ipman and the Dangote refinery to cut the intermediaries and deliver to the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has been widely celebrated as a positive move. And the NNPCL also joined in to say, listen, they're not going to import the product anymore. They're going to source their products from the local industries, the local refineries that we have in-house in the country, the Dangote refineries, as well as other refineries that are capable of delivering high quality product. I think we do have Mr. Kayode Ekundayo back online, so it's good to have you back. Just, if you don't mind, finish your line of thought there. We lost the communication there between your point about protecting local industries while also trying to achieve total deregulation. Please go ahead.
Yes. What I'm saying is that what NNPC, I'm not defending anybody. It is our understanding of what is happening in the market. And I've been in the sector for a long time, and I know what is happening. I think what NNPC is trying to do is to protect the market. Now, what we call the regulation of the market is a liberalization of the market, where you allow all sorts of product to come in from where you can get it available at a cheaper price. And that is what NNPC is trying to protect. And I can tell you clearly that why we have not been having cheap price of product in Nigeria, which we can't have for now, is because of the foreign exchange. Look at the current exchange rate. It's 1,000 close to 1,650 to 1,700. Now, the crude oil at international market is coming down. Possibly it will come more than $72 per barrel before the end of the year. Now, some countries are already taking advantage of this, lowering their cost of fuel. I can tell you a number of countries that I read in the paper, like Indonesia, Venezuela, and some other oil-producing states are lowering their cost of cost of fuel, just because it for them. But here in Nigeria, the advantage of having the lower crude oil price will have been beneficiary to us, but we couldn't get that benefit because our exchange rate is the major problem. So to me, a lot still to be done. It still needs to be done concerning the exchange rate. Yeah, so we are seeing how the exchange rate is getting bigger. The CBN declared $30 billion buffet in the last 3 months and all sorts of things. But that is not what we are saying. The impact of this on the generality of the public, on the impact of find way to leverage on the exchange rate. We will continue to have this problem not until we have a lower exchange rate, and we won't derive any benefit. Instead of a lower price of fuel, we will be getting because look at it. We say we are buying crude in naira. It's still equivalent of the foreign exchange. If crude oil is $73 in the market, we will pay equivalent of that in naira when we are buying. So the same thing that we need. If it is lowering in the market, we are going to pay at the exchange rate we are having it in Nigeria. So that is the problem we are having. There is nothing, any other problem that the marketer cannot buy in Nigeria, but the exchange rate. So I will say that the marketer doesn't have problem. Dangote doesn't have problem. NNPC doesn't have any problem. But what NNPC is trying to do is to leverage on the market to make a playing ground where every player and even the LMDPR, that's what they are trying to do, which to my understanding, that is what we call deregulation. By the time all of us concentrated on Dangote refinery, we are creating a monopoly, and that will not solve any problem in Nigeria. And the marketer will, a refinery will now be dictating for the whole Nigeria, like we have in other sector. And that is what NNPC is trying to avoid by all means.
Yeah, but
that is looking like they are not supporting Dangote refinery. The NNPDPR is doing the same thing. That is look like they are not supporting the Dangote refinery. To me, it's not so.
Yeah. I know that is a very big concern when we talk about energy security, and most people have countered that argument by saying, listen, if you have enough players within the industry into the refining business, because of the scale of the productivity, it will eventually crash the prices. And also, the biggest takeaway is the fact that if you have Ipman going to Dangote to source their products. You have NNPC going to Dangote and other refineries in Nigeria. We're sparing ourselves the stress of having to spend the limited amount of dollars that we have on imports. And that in itself is an economic positive. Wouldn't you agree?
I can't hear you very well. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, so the question is...
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, if we're able to cut down significantly on the dollars that we use to import PMS, isn't that a net positive in and of itself for the Nigerian economy? If IPMAN and NNPCL are buying
that will create
other refineries in-house,
that will create an opportunity. Yes, that's what we are talking about. If we can get a reduction in the exchange rate, for instance, let's say a dollar goes for 100 naira now, definitely the cost of fuel will come down significantly, and it will be impacted in the market, and the economy will know that this thing actually happened. Unfortunately, what we are having now, as of 2 weeks ago, the exchange rate was 1,555. As at yesterday, it was 1,650 to between 1,650 to 1,750. So when you look at all these things, it's not favoring the marketers. It's not even favoring Dangote. It's not even favoring any refinery, because they are paying in dollar equivalent to Nigeria. There is no difference even in dollar. They are changing it to naira, which is equivalent to that particular amount they would have paid for the imported products. Just the difference.
Mr. Kayode, are you
Gilly can explain better. That is how it works.
Are you essentially saying that this deal doesn't necessarily change the scenario for Nigerians who are optimistic that we're about to turn a corner? Are you saying that nothing is going?
I don't see anything coming out. In fact, if the government does intervene in the foreign exchange, I see that we continue to have an increase in the price of fuel almost every month.
Okay.
If they don't control the dollars.
Yeah. Let's bring back Mr. Gilly-Harry into the conversation, the president of PETROAN. You heard some of his concerns there. I wonder if you agree or disagree with his take, because he's saying as long as Dangote in the narrow for crude swap is still paying the dollar value of the crude oil that he's going to refine, the prices are not necessarily going to crash to an appreciable level where Nigerians are going to feel the impact. What are your thoughts about some of the concerns that he has raised, including the security question, the energy security question, that we become over-reliant on Dangote and the few local refineries? What happens if they are unable to meet our demands and we are completely cut off, importation, for instance? What are your thoughts about some of the points that he has raised there?
Well, I appreciate his very clear knowledge of the industry and his analysis of the possible outcomes of some of the actions or inactions of the critical stakeholders. PETROAN is a critical stakeholder because without our retail outlets, all of this conversation will amount to, naught, because it's the retail outlets as the final, mile, is the last mile in the distribution value chain. Now, but let me make it very clear that the cost of purchase of crude oil by Dangote, and to the best of my knowledge, will never be a subject of public discourse. The reason is that this is a private business, and they must have their business secrets. They cannot be discussing everything about their business in the public. And I also will want to discourage anybody that's trying to project cost of production to be at any level. And however, errors could be made in projections, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that those facts will not encourage the greater expectation of Nigerians to buy product affordably. So there will be impact once Ipman starts to load products directly from Dangote, and the prices are competitive, it will certainly impact in the amount of money that is leaving the pocket of Nigerians to buy petroleum products at any retail outlet.
Mr. Gilly-Harry.
Yeah, so, but the fact that there are prices that are now going to be the issues on how crude oil is sold in Naira, but at what rate, in what manner, those are things that will be a little bit difficult to discuss. So NNPC is a public company, so we should expect that NNPC should be able to tell us exactly what their own selling prices should be. But I think for Dangote, he has to keep his business as private as possible, unless it's actually is very pertinent and important that the public should know. But otherwise, these discussions going on, both with Ipman, NNPC, Petrol, and all the major stakeholders, obviously they are all geared towards the assurance of product availability, which will guarantee energy security, will also tilt towards product affordability. So those facts must not be lost, regardless of what the selling price of crude oil is to any of the refineries in country, not just only to Dangote. There are other refineries also coming in, both private and owned by NNPC. So we should expect that we should have a better deal in the coming weeks or coming days.
Right. As you can imagine, the key interest for most Nigerians watching this program right now, listening to the conversation, is pricing. At the end of the day, they're investing in how much are we going to pay for a liter of petrol going forward. You talk about competitive pricing. How do we attain that? How does this new shift help Nigeria and Nigerians attain competitive pricing? One that is fair to the people in business and to Nigerians, average Nigerians who have to pay for the price for their vehicles or for cost of production for manufacturing, as well as transportation and everything else that is tied around PMS.
I think we'll get to that point because the PIA clearly gives directives on how prices should be, computed, and the NMDPRA is there to ensure that that policy is implemented. There is no expectation, in my opinion, of any one segment of the players, not from Petrol, not from Ipman, not from anybody, to overcharge the Nigerian public. And I believe that the president will certainly want to give his best answers, to those who are really going to be patriotic in making sure that we make our profit to stay in business, but Nigerians are the better for it.
Right. Bringing Mr. Kayode Ekundayo back into the conversation, you listen to what Mr. Gilly-Harry had to say about it. He's rather optimistic about some of these changes, some of the movements that we're seeing within the industry. But if you have to talk about the competitiveness, the concerns that you have about energy security, about the supply issues that may happen, he did talk about some of these other refineries coming on board. I mean, Nigerians have lost track of how many promises have been made about the 4 refineries that we had anticipated that this year they will be fully operational, from the Port Harcourt to the Warri refinery, and so on and so forth. So many deadlines have been amended. But what are your thoughts about what he said, particularly with regards to competitiveness, but also, do you see this opening the doors for more private investment in the refining business?
Definitely, yes. I'm expecting more investors to come into the field. And the market is regulated now. And and that is what some of these players have been yearning for. For many years, they've been praying for having a deregulated market, and we have it now. So one thing that we always love to see is to allow players to source their products anywhere in the world where they can find it. And that is when we can see the regulation working. If we are going to limit ourselves to only production in Nigeria, there is every possibility that we are likely to have the same cost of supply. It's true that NNPC doesn't disclose how much they are selling to Dangote. But at the same time, we know what is going on at international market. We know the cost of crude oil. We know how much they are selling Brent. We know how much they are selling the other one. All these things matters when we are looking into the system. Yes, we are waiting for the coming up of the other refineries, like the government refinery, Kaduna Warri. We are waiting to see when they will come on stream. But right now, as I said, the marginal refinery that are coming up, their production is not up to 100,000, all of them combining together. And they have, honestly, it's a thing. It's a good thing for us to have a Dangote refinery coming on stream. I can tell you, Dangote refinery is producing one of the best quality products in the world. And that actually makes the product to be more expensive. Anybody coming out with high octane of that standard, definitely the cost of production is high. We don't know the level of which other refinery, I mean the marginal refinery, we don't know their production style, the level of their octane, the octane level in their product. We don't know how they are blending it. We don't know how they are refining it. But the cost of their production, we don't know too. We don't know how much they are selling to their marketer. If they have marketers that are buying from them, we don't know how much they are selling it. All what we know is on the Dangote refinery. And that the reason why the noise is on Dangote refinery is because it's the largest refinery in Africa today, coming out from Nigeria. And that is why the noise is much, that he wants all the marketers to be concentrating, focusing, buying from him, buying from the refinery, and which is well, as I said, which is well good. And as I will still say, sir, that for the regulation to work, players to ensure the sustainability of supplies, players should be allowed to source their products anywhere in the world where they can find this product. So that when you go to any filling station, you buy at different prices, not at the same price you buy from here. The NNPC is the only one selling at different price now. If you go to any filling station across Lagos State, they are selling at the same price, 1,070. It's only an NPC that is selling at 1,020. That's 1,020. Other filling stations around Lagos, they are selling at the same price. And that is, to me, it doesn't sound that we are already the market is deregulated. What, to me, we are seeing here is increase in price all the time. Because a well-regulated price, as you see 3 of filling stations that are selling at different prices, at the same place, selling at the same price. If I go to filling station, I should be able to buy a different price. Except NNPC. NNPC should have its own price. So, to me, we are not yet on ground when we are talking about this deregulation. We are not yet on ground.
Okay. Bringing Mr. Gilly back into the conversation, just to piggyback off of what Mr. Kayode just said right now, there are a lot of Nigerians listening to this conversation, scratching their heads, struggling to, align themselves with what they're hearing, because there have been a lot of lip service, a lot of promises that have not been fulfilled when we talk about the oil and gas sector, for instance, in the country. When we talk about the transparency or the lack of transparency within the industry itself, whether it's the NNPCL and the consumption level domestically, we've had several reports that seem to, give vague numbers with regards to the consumption level in the country. What can you tell us about what that is doing to the conversation now? And then what can you tell Nigerians who are a bit suspicious that the triad of Ipman, Dangote, and NNPCL could have simply just fine-tuned a way to work together, but Nigerians are not going to be the beneficiaries of this new arrangement?
Well, in my position, I can comfortably say that that assumption is wrong. There's no way that there's going to be a conspiracy to take advantage of Nigerians. There will be a plan to work very seamlessly to make sure that Nigerians are the better for it. I can beat my chest and say that. And Petron is a champion of that cause. And I believe that every other stakeholder that's involved will have that as a focal point of their decision on how Nigeria's economy can grow. There shouldn't be too much poor speculations. It's human, we're human, so it's not impossible to think of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I believe that this transaction going on with Dangote Refinery and Ipman and NNPC also making the pronouncements that they've made to ensure that products that they're going to be selling going forward will be manufactured and refined in country. But that is a good thing. It also encourages all of us who have abilities to import products to also look at the dynamics on how the imported products will work. So, but like Kayode has said, it's important to allow the regulation to set in place fully. Importers who have capacity to import and can compete in the market should be allowed to import. And then refiners should refine effectively and ensure that their prices are competitive.
Right. And when we talk about the transparency part, I don't know if you missed that as a question. With regards to how much, you did talk about how Dangote as a private business cannot open its books unless, the government is trying to, do the proper checks. And sometimes some of this information are kept private because of certain provisions of the law. But what does that do in shrouding the entire industry in some sort of controversy? Because the back and forth that we've seen recently from the NMDPRA, the NNPCL, Dangote's counter, the Ipman's counter, your positions on things, Nigerians are struggling to believe every one of the stakeholders in this conversation. How do we clear that murky water so that Nigerians can actually, understand what is actually going on?
Well, it's not difficult to clear that cloudy water. It's not difficult. The facts are coming out clearly. NNPC is effectively communicating. I believe that Dangote will also be effectively communicating. Petron had, Ipman had a discussion with Dangote, came to a roundtable agreement. They were in a press release to announce that. And all the necessary steps to ensure that such levels of transparency are now impacted and an everyday thing in the industry will become, a consistent play every day. For Petrol, we are committed to transparency, we are committed to doing what is right, and we want to drive home our patriotic zeal to ensure that Nigeria's economy grows by the little effort we make in ensuring that products that we are able to source from everywhere get into the retail outlet and Nigerians are the better for it.
Mr. Kayode, let's talk about the expectations of Nigerians, because in this particular conversation, the irony is that Nigerians have cause to be hopeful now. But as we know, it's the hope that kills you at the end of the day. So, putting everything on a scale, what should Nigerians realistically expect? Because I like to believe that while these agreements have been signed and sealed, it's going to take a while for the transition to happen. I suppose some orders have been already made by Ipman and all the other players within the industry, and sometimes some of the shipments take a while before they arrive. How long do you think before we adjust to this new normal, and what can Nigerians realistically expect based on your own understanding of what is going on? Yeah, with regards to expectations, whether it's pricing, whether it's stability, whether it's security, what can we realistically expect from these new developments?
Please, I think Nigerians shouldn't have any expectation for now. That is the truth. Nigerians shouldn't have any expectation for now. We just started the regulation, and the hiccups that is inherent in it is what we are going through. Before we can begin to derive the maximum benefit of the regulation, it is to be in the next 2 or 3 years. So what we are having now is imbalance of the we are yet to get the root of the regulation. We are yet to even started it. What we are doing now is an experiment. To me, it's an experiment, because if a company is fighting that it should be in its own company, that it should come and be importing fuel, definitely we are yet to get to it. We are yet to even know the meaning of the regulation, liberalization of the market. We are yet to understand it. And if all these things coming up, we know that some other refineries are coming up, like Bua refinery is coming up. It's 200,000 barrels per day. We know all, 1 or 2 other refineries that are coming up. Not until we have those refineries on ground, we cannot say that we have started the regulation, because right now we have only functional refinery in Nigeria, which is Dangote refinery. We have to wait till when the federal government refinery come on stream. If we don't have all these things, we are not yet having a competitive market. So, and already we have seen a drop in the fuel importation into the country. We have seen a drastic drop in the fuel importation in the country. So all of us, all the marketers, definitely they are going to be selling at the same price. They are going to be selling at the same price, generally. If an NPC now be importing from Dangote refinery, we are going to have the same price, except possibly it reduce the price because it's a government price starter. Right. Okay. So to me, I don't see any expectation for now. Okay. In fact, the expectation I see is that there will be a rise, there will be a persistent rise in the price of the petrol into the market almost every month. If there is any challenge in the international market today, we are going to feel it. Okay. Because Dangote refinery is buying product at international price. Okay, right. In exchange of, in the equivalent of Nigerian naira. Okay. So nothing has changed. Okay. Nothing has changed. Thank you very much for that is my take. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Gilly-Harry, in less than 20 seconds, if you can, let's just suppose Mr. Kayode just gave us the glass half empty as part of the analysis. Give us the glass half full. You heard what he said. Nigerians should not hold their breath, should limit their expectations. What do you have to say to that?
Well, the thing is, right now there are still quite a lot of moving parts. But that does not mean that we should not have expectations of hope. We should expect that things will be better. And I say that with good reason, because with this deal now that is going on between Ipman and Dangote and the NNPC on the other side, and Petrol will obviously work with Dangote and also with NNPC and all the sources of how we get products. The more we are able to source for products on a basic, price line, the more affordable the product will be. Okay. Yes, if there are fluctuations in pricing of crude oil, it will impact on Nigeria's pricing of petrol of PMS. Right. But there must be a way for our government policy to make sure that the PMS and other refined products are affordable. And I think I want to encourage Nigerians to have that expectation. All right.
Mr. Gilly-Harry, President of PETROAN and Energy Times publisher Kayode Ekundayo. Gentlemen, thank you most kindly for adding value to the conversation on daily politics tonight. I appreciate you for your time. And as always, thank you most kindly for joining the conversation. Feel free to join us tomorrow. We'll be back live at 8 p.m. exclusive as always on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed, from myself and the rest of the team. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.